In today's video, we're going to be tackling this small section, or what I call a small section, even though it's 8 feet high and 10 feet long, of a closet built-in system that I'm doing for a client. All right, guys, let's get started making this thing. There's a lot to do here.
All right, so the first thing I do is head over to the sliding table saw and I break down the sheets of plywood. This saves me a lot of time. I used to break it down with the track saw and then bring it over to the regular cabinet saw, and so it was a lot of double cutting, and there was a lot of things, a lot of shortcomings on a regular cabinet saw, things you can't do that you can do with a sliding table saw. Number one, save time, obviously. Number two, you don't have to struggle with ripping these full sheets of plywood down. These are 4x8 sheets of pre-finished maple. They weigh about 75, 80 pounds each, and when you're cutting up about, anywhere between 10 to 25 of these sheets per day, you start manhandling these things on a regular table saw or breaking it down with a track saw, you're going to have a lot of problems by the end of the day. You're going to be pretty much dead. Another thing is that you can't do with a regular traditional saw, and you would need some kind of a cutting station to do this for cross cutting. These long pieces are just about 88.5 inches in length. These are the sides of the cabinets, because this is going to go from floor to ceiling, and I have a stop block set up at that dimension, which it turns out to be 2236 millimeters. So it's like maybe I don't know, 88 and 1/8, I think, is the final dimension on that. But it's going to get a filler panel on the top and then some crown molding, and that's going to give me the exact dimensions I need to make this, with the toe kick being 4 inches, bring it up to the ceiling to make it a finished product from floor to ceiling. And so you can see here that now I'm running the grooves. I put the dado stack in, and I'm running the grooves for the back panel. And I'm going to explain to you in a second how much easier it is to do this on a sliding table saw, because these panels are heavy.
Okay, so you can see that I've been running the grooves on the short pieces, which is the top and the bottom, and then the long pieces, which is going to be the entire side from top to bottom. What I did while I was running those grooves on camera, I looked back for a minute and I said, I'm doing too much work. What I realized was, as I ran it through, I was picking the panel up and carrying it over there to stack it again, grab another one, bringing it here, and then rolling it back. I realized that after I'm done making the cut, why not just walk the sliding table saw all the way back to where it needs to be before the blade, and then pick up the piece. And now I only have to carry it about 2 feet, drop it down, then take the next panel, walk about 2 feet, drop it down, and now I'm already set up and ready to go and run this through. And then once I run this through, I'll walk it back again and then stack it back up. And so I'm speeding up the process and making less effort for myself.
You guys know me by now, at least most of you do. If you're new here, then you're going to learn efficiency is key with me. I try to chip away any of the inessentials, like Bruce Lee said, use what's necessary and get rid of everything else that's not necessary. So you're going to chip away those inessentials, you're going to start working a lot faster. So right now I'm using the Festool Conturo, and I'm edge banding all the pieces. I like to use a 1mm PVC edge banding whenever I'm doing a paint grade, a white paint grade. Anyway, you can get color matched PVC banding to match whatever color you're doing. You have to find a supplier that will do that. So you would give them the color swatch that you're using for that particular cabinet, and you would get, in return, they would do a banding for you custom to that color. And if not, I have a video showing you how to paint the edge banding to match.
Okay, so now here we are at the Maxima line boring machine. Now this thing is made for cabinetry and any kind of built-ins or kitchens, closets, vanities, anything that you can build that has a cabinet that needs adjustable shelves in it. This is definitely the machine that's going to speed up your process. I've been waiting for this moment for so long. I did a video on this a couple of weeks ago. This thing is going to speed up my production like you won't believe. So if you're a professional, then this is absolutely something that you need in your shop if you build any kind of cabinets. Now, if you're not a professional, there is a cheaper version of it that has a pull instead of stepping on the pedal and having everything come down and drill for you with the pneumatic line. You don't need that if you're not really doing this for a living. I'm going to be drilling like 1,000 holes or more for this for this closet built-in that I'm doing, and the panels are extremely long. So you can see that I have the extension wings out on this. These are the extension support arms, and they're also an additional fence if you needed more of a stop block. So really quick, what I'm gonna do is, you can see I have one of the panels right here. I'm gonna put this right on here. Now, the cool thing about this, besides the fact that I have the stop blocks, and this fits like right underneath my miter saw extension wing, so I don't even have to move anything for when I start drilling out the holes. Now all I have to do is spin this panel around, and I'm going to put this stop block down, spin this around to this side, and I'll put it on my support over here, and we're going to do the same thing. Now here's the really cool thing. This is not even a balanced panel, so I don't have to worry about setting up that, you know, well, first of all, it's really long. I would have to set up 2 of those tracks, and then I would have to mark the tracks and spin them around, and it would be just a nightmare because you wouldn't be, you know, referencing the same holes on the tracks. Since it's not a balanced panel, you can't use those stops that they have on the old LR32 system. So this is just much more convenient for me.
So this machine has been an absolute pleasure in my shop, and you can see here 1,080 holes drilling on all of these panels just by stepping on a pedal and sliding it down using the indexing pins. And everything you'll see at the end of the video when I drop the shelves in just becomes absolutely perfect. And so, you know, that's something that you need to consider if you're doing this type of work, is any kind of a machine that will make your life easier and make you more money. And so I took just approximately 15 minutes and like 47 seconds to drill 1,080 holes on all 10 of those panels. So now I'm just going to put everything together. You saw I was cutting the 1/4-inch sheet a second ago on the sliding table saw. Now I'm just using staples. I'm going to staple everything together, and then I'm going to countersink and use number 8 1 5/8 long screws that are made for cabinet construction. And that's basically just going to lock everything together. And people ask me all the time, why don't you glue your cabinets together? Well, you don't need to glue them together. As long as you put them together in the correct orientation, which is the top and the bottom or mid shelves, sandwiched between those sides, you're going to get shear strength, and then everything's going to be locked together with the staples and the screws. Now, I've made thousands of cabinets over the years. Now, there's a time and a place to use the glue, but for regular cabinet construction, I've never had a failure not using glue. Just know that if you do glue your cabinets together, which you can, I'm not saying that you can't do it, if you do what you want to do, but if you do glue them together, just know that if you have any kind of a failure or have to make any kind of a repair, you're not going to get that cabinet apart anymore. It's complete garbage. So you're going to have to remake that entire cabinet. Whereas if you don't glue it, then all you need to do is take the screws out, take a little dead blow mallet and tap the staples out, and there you go. You can reuse the parts. Just keep that in mind. All right, so you saw here that I was putting in the rear stretchers. Those are going to keep everything square and solid. And now I'm putting in the separation shelf at the bottom. This is not only going to act as a shelf where the client can put stuff on that bottom shelf, because the cabinets are going to have a closet system. They're going to have a pole towards the top and an adjustable shelf on the top. So you're getting double the storage here. And now while I have the cabinet up in a comfortable working height on my workbench, it's easier to keep it on its side and put those undermount soft close drawer slides in. These are the Bloom tandem undermount drawer slides. I have a video on how I install those. So I'm just showing you here as I'm doing the construction, because I'm showing you the technique on how much easier it is to put these in while you have it in this working height. Now here the challenge I'm going to explain is working by yourself, building heavy things like this. You have to come up with all kinds of crazy creative ways to do things by yourself.
Okay, so I just wanted to stop to talk about this for 1 second, because when you work by yourself and you do stuff this heavy and large, you need to come up with creative ways to really not get hurt and not drop or damage the heavy cabinet carcasses or whatever piece of furniture you're building. So the reason I put this table underneath, that was to stop this piece of melamine from bending when I lowered it off of the end of the table. You saw that I put some clamps on the end. That was to stop it from shifting and sliding or flipping upwards with the cabinet. I didn't need that to come up and come down with the cabinet and land on my feet.
Because if you've ever lifted a piece of melamine, which I have on top of my workbench right now, a 4x8 piece of melamine, you know that it's much heavier than the actual 4x8 sheets of plywood. So if that comes down on your foot, you're going to have a problem. Not to say that the plywood's not going to hurt you either, but I'm using leverage here to my advantage and just sliding all the pieces together. And I'm basically leveling them as I go because it's important to, I don't have the toe kick in front of this yet. I'm not putting it on the toe kick. I built the toe kick off to the side. You'll see it probably later in the video behind me. If not, you'll see it in the next video when I do the drawers, the drawer boxes. But I didn't put it up on there. I just put it on sticks to keep it up off the pavement in my shop, which I have a concrete floor. So I'm leveling everything with shims and keeping everything perfect and clamping the pieces together. And this is going to ensure that I have everything perfect so that nothing surprises me later on during the install. I want to be able to fix it now in my shop while I have the opportunity.
Okay guys, so you can see behind me, this thing is massive. This is just going to be one small section, if you want to call it small, of this closet built-in job. So this is going to be sitting up on a toe kick. I don't want to do the drawers in this video because I don't want it to get too long, so I'm going to separate another video for the drawer boxes. And then the next video after that, we'll be making the doors for this project here, which are going to be a cope and stick. Not sure. We're going to check with the client. We're going to see if we're going to go with a just regular shaker style or if we're going to have some kind of profile on there. So I'll double check with them, show them a couple of different designs, and then they'll decide what they want. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything because I have a lot of videos to come. We are rocking and rolling here in the shop. There's so much going on. So I hope you guys will join me for all of it. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time in the shop. Don't forget, we're tackling the drawers next and the doors after that. So stay tuned.